You got to live your life. See, I notice a lot because I have a disease. I'm allergic to stupid. Now, some of y'all might have that same disease. But if you have the disease, you know for a fact that it does not start when you're an adult. It starts when you're a child. I can remember being in class, the teacher said, "Katt, stand up." I am standing up. She said, "Spell kitchen." So I sounded it out as I had been instructed to do. Kitchen, kitchen, K-I-T-C-H-E-N. She said, very good, spell knife. Now once again, church, I sounded this out. Knife. Knife. N-I-F-E, knife. She said, no, I'm sorry, it's K-N-I-F-E. This is stupid, she really is. Yes, that would be knife. Knife. This is what she told me in front of the whole class. She said the K is silent. I said, then take that quieter out then, because it's confusing me. Right after class, I cut that Twitter spoon. Just what the are you talking about? Now, just in case you think I'm tripping, we are all adults now. Can you please tell me the purpose of the silent letter? Have you ever been able to use one in your own personal life? My name is Bob, that's B-K-O-B. No, your name is Bacab. It's right there, Bacab. Math was my favorite subject because everything that said I could verify. She said 2 and 2 is 4. Sure is. All the time. Then one day this just flipped the script. 3x plus y equals what? This is still teaching. Do you see this? Did you know that some of them was letters?
Welcome to KAZI 88.7 FM. I'm Russell Dowden, host of Rockstar Radio and the publisher and editor of Rockstar Magazine. We're joined with this month's cover artist, none other than the very talented Katt Williams, joining us here on the phone here in KZI Studios in Austin, Texas. Katt is coming into Austin to perform at the Cedar Park Center on Halloween here in Austin, Texas. So trick or treat, Katt Williams here on KAZI. How are you, Katt?
Doing good, thank you. Appreciate it.
Well, thanks for stopping by and talking with us. We're looking forward to your show this Halloween, and so basically, just tell me, really starting off. I just wanted to get a little background on you. How did you start getting into comedy?
I got into it quite innocently. I didn't realize it was an actual thing that you could do as a job. I just thought it was something that people did on the side, and I was just I was thrown into a position where I was able to perform in a stand-up competition, and I won, and I just could not believe they gave me $25 for talking for 5 minutes, and it really blew my mind, and I had no recollection that it was a money-making process at all, and I was already in love with comedy at that point. I just didn't realize it was something you could do for a living, and it changed my life.
Well, were you a funny kid growing up?
I thought so. Nobody else thought so.
Well, I gotta ask you.
Everybody else thought I had class with no CL. They just thought I had it.
Well, I know you're my age, so we're both from 71.
In our early 20s.
Yeah, early 20s. That's right. So I wanted to ask you, who was some of your influences in comedy, growing up in the 70s and the early 80s?
Well, comedy was so broad for me then. I liked comedy in general, and so whether it was I Love Lucy or Carol Burnett, or whether it was Don Knotts or Andy Griffith. Like, those were landmark people as alongside of Lenny Bruce and Richard Pryor and George Carlin, Cosby and Murphy, and I'm saying, I was in love with the whole group. I'm watching everybody. I'm studying. I'm being influenced by all of them, because you're seeing how everybody is hitting a different mark and how it all makes music together. And so, you know, that's the art and craft of comedy anyway.
Oh, that's awesome, man. I dig it. Man, I got a question for you. Out of all of the characters that you've played, like in movie and television, and I know you've done like a lot of voiceovers also, what is your favorite character that you played?
Oh, man. Oh, that's not fair. All of them. All of them. It's not like that. It's like, it would be like somebody asking you, what's your favorite dessert you ever had? You know, if you have a favorite, you probably had it a lot. That's why it's your favorite. Each character is a new opportunity for you to create this birth that only happens in life with a real birth, where you're actually making a character from scratch and being able to become to do the character so well that you become that character. And then unless you're Caitlyn Jenner, you don't experience that unless you're an actor.
I hear you. Would you ever consider making like a spin-off series of the Boondocks with a pimp named Slickback?
Well, what I'll say is, the only time you're really doing a good job in a project is when they think that you could do a spin-off of your character of that. And so that's always the goal, because as an actor, you're not in charge of those calls. If it comes down the line, then you'll consider it, but you're just trying to do as good a job. It's so good that they say, man, we could do a spin-off of this one character, and that's the highest praise in our business.
Yeah, I got you. Awesome.
Well, I guess I want to kind of ask you about the new tour, Conspiracy Theory. You've been known to make comments about, some risque topics, and I was a fan of Dave Chappelle's work. I've seen him perform here in Austin, and I always wanted to interview Dave as in character of Conspiracy Brother. But this is funny. I think this is cool. I thought interviewing Dave Chappelle as Conspiracy Brother would be a fun interview. So, I mean, how did you get into this whole new theme? Why the name Conspiracy Theory this tour?
As a comedian, you have a certain dialogue with your fans, and so if you're where I am and you're getting ready to do your 10th 100 city tour, and you have a steady dialogue with your fan base, and so you're constantly refreshing this conversation that you're having. And so this is a collection of all the stuff that you put to the side, the difficult topics. Mm-hmm. These are all of the difficult topics translated into a comedy conversation, and it's just so refreshing to have the conversation, because it's the first step to healing anything. Is you have to be able to have the conversation, and comedy gives you the way to have difficult conversations comedically, because you have to be able to see both sides of things in order to figure out how to chart a path. That's where everything comes from, including peace.
Well, so I guess, are you going to get into some politics, or what are we getting? What can we expect from this tour?
My job is to be hilarious, and so I'm allowed to pick whatever subjects equal out to that sum of hilarious. And so these are the hilarious subjects that are necessary in conversation. And our lives move so fast, but the comedy show is a time for us to sit down for 2 hours and have a discussion where we are talking about things and laughing at the same time. And so I brought a collection of people, first of all, that are so funny and so diverse that it's just a pleasure to see that unfold beforehand. And what that leaves me with is the ability to have this conversation as well as all that. So it's a satisfying experience for the audience, and that was what the real agenda was for the conspiracy theory tour, is just to give an idea of how good a comedy show actually could be. So that's the plan.
That's awesome. I wanted to ask you one question. What kind of music are you listening to lately? What's new that you got jamming?
All music. I have no musical barriers. So if it's new, I want to hear a piece of it, and I go from there. Just because it's so easy to miss good stuff, you can't really. That's the one good thing about the digital age, is it gives us the opportunity to hear way more stuff way quicker than we ever did when we were growing up. So you can just change it to a Pandora station that you are not familiar with, and you will hear some things. So that I'm constantly in musical research.
Got you.
Well, have you heard of Mr. Conspiracy? Alex Jones is one of our own here in Austin, Texas. I was just wondering if you ever listened to him.
You mean the Alex Jones?
Yeah, he lives here in Austin. I actually did some work for him a few years ago, and I was just wondering if you were ever a listener of his show ever.
Yeah, he's he's a humongous reference name in the world. I'll put it that way. Like, if you haven't heard his name, then that would mean something is wrong. You might not even be allowed to call your thing conspiracy theory in that case.
Well, you will be welcomed with open arms here in Austin, since we are all
it's so perfect. It's perfect subject matter. It's the perfect place. I'm saying, if you could only hit one city with your message, you could hit Austin and be as close to your key demographic as possible, just in a place that is already suited to dealing with the abnormal, the extraordinary, you know what I mean, the completely outside of the box, and yet somehow still valued as a frame of reference. That I'm saying, all of that is what Austin is anyway. So between Austin and Rockstar and the conspiracy theory, it looks like, all the blood moons lining up together.
I think so, and it's going to be a great night on Halloween. And
then when did you say on Halloween? Doesn't it seem like it's all set up perfectly?
It really does, Katt. It sounds like it's going to be a great show on Halloween.
It is.
Before we let you go, I wanted to ask you, I gotta ask you because I'm on the phone here with you, and your tour is called Conspiracy Theory, so at least what are your thoughts on UFOs? Come on now, Katt. I know you've seen some UFOs.
Oh man, here we
go. Are you asking me, do I believe in space shuttles?
Well, do you comment on UFOs? You care to share anything, or have you had any?
I'm sharing it right now. I'm saying, you asked me, did I believe in UFOs? And I said, of course, I believe in space shuttles. So now I'm saying a space shuttle would be something that we built here, that we use to go from here to other places. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
So how could I imagine that a civilization ahead of us doesn't have a means of transportation?
They definitely
that would be
do.
Ridiculous, right?
They definitely have a means to get around, and they are whipping around all over this planet.
Everybody's book says that. The Bible, the Quran, the Torah. Everybody's book says, and then some people from up there came down here. They all say it. So
Awesome, awesome. Hey, well, let me ask you this, Katt. For people who want to know more about the tour and all that, where can they check you out online?
For people that want to know more about the tour, they should come to see the tour. That's it.
I hear you, man.
Well, thanks for your time, Katt. I just thought, is there a website you want to plug, your online presence? Any shout outs to anybody in Austin, Texas you just want to tell the listeners here on KAZI?
I am really just excited about coming to Austin. And if you told anybody that they could come to Austin and then come on a Halloween, it's almost too good to be true. So I am so excited about it, and I cannot wait to get there. I'm getting there early just so that I can soak in as much Austin as possible beforehand.
Well, Austin is going to open its arms for you, sir. Katt Williams on Halloween here in Austin at the Cedar Park Center. The stars, the moons are lining up for this event. That's Rockstar Magazine, Katt Williams. The tour is called Conspiracy Theory on Halloween. You can't ask for a better situation. Katt Williams here on KAZI 88.7 FM. Thanks for your time, brother.
Austin can't wait to see you, Katt.
We'll look forward to seeing you soon.
Used to be, you get killed by only a few things, like a gun, a knife, somebody hitting you in the head with a rock, a piano falling from the sky. Now you can get killed by anything. I was reading in the paper, most are being killed by spinach. You can't even go to heaven if you get killed by spinach. You can't even go. You don't know what to tell Jesus. You know what, Jesus, I did have a salad. I really did. What I was thinking about. Then they got salmonella. I thought you got this from Raggedy. No, come to find out, you get this from chicken that ain't cooked properly. So as soon as I heard that, I was like, oh, that's terrible that white people can catch such a disease as that. And they was like, no, they can get it too. What? The way we done supported your whole career, chicken, you gonna kill a hugging? It say in the Bible, thou shalt not kill. Just end with chicken, it says that. They got mad cow disease, which fucked me up completely, because I didn't even know cows even had feelings like that. I don't know what the cow feel like, I just want a number 7.